What if the person you trust most turned out to be your greatest danger? It was supposed to be a relaxing summer getaway, a chance to escape everyday worries. But in the quiet countryside of Denmark, in June of 2017, tranquility shattered into horror. Paula Leeson, a respected businesswoman from Manchester, England, known for her kindness and competence, was discovered dead under shocking and baffling circumstances. It was past midnight, June 6, 2017. A quiet vacation rental in the peaceful countryside of Western Denmark became the center of chaos and confusion. Paula Leeson was missing from her bed. Her husband, Donald McFerson, woke up alone, worried, disoriented. He claimed he began to search the darkened cottage in panic. Minutes later, Donald stepped out into the yard, heart racing, and discovered a horrifying sight. Paula's body was floating face down in the small indoor swimming pool, a shallow pool no more than 4 feet deep, yet she was motionless, unresponsive.
Oh my God, Paula, no!
Donald pulled her from the water, desperately attempting CPR. According to his later testimony, he did everything he could to save her.
Come on, Paula, breathe, stay with me.
Despite frantic efforts, medical responders couldn't revive her. Paula Leeson was pronounced dead at the scene. At first glance, it seemed a tragic, heartbreaking accident. But even the earliest moments hinted something darker. Authorities noted disturbing bruises and unusual marks on Paula's body, injuries not typically associated with drowning. They were subtle but ominous clues that something sinister might have occurred.
Can you tell me exactly how you found your wife?
I woke up and she was gone. She mentioned feeling sick. I went searching and that's when I found her, in the pool.
Donald's version seemed straightforward, yet contradictions quickly arose. Authorities would soon discover secrets far darker than anyone imagined. Before the tragedy, before the secrets, there was simply Paula. Born and raised in Sale, a quiet town near Manchester, Paula was known for her kindness, her work ethic, and her deep love for family. She was a devoted daughter, a proud mother, and a respected businesswoman. Together with her father, she ran a successful skip-hire business, hard, physical work, but Paula thrived. She didn't inherit wealth, she earned her place through sheer determination. At just 17, she became a single mother to a baby boy, Ben. Life wasn't easy, but Paula never complained. She raised Ben with strength, working long hours and giving him everything she could. By her 40s, Paula was thriving. She owned her home, her business was booming, and her son was on his way to university. Her life, once full of struggle, was now stable, grounded, and full of hope. And then, he entered her life. Donald McFerson, a man who came out of nowhere, charming, quiet, mysterious. Her world would never be the same again. What began as romance soon became something far darker. Paula believed she had found love. In truth, she had let a predator into her life. Paula believed she had found love. In June of 2014, she married Donald McFerson at Peckforton Castle, surrounded by friends and family, on her side. Not a single guest came for Donald. No family, no friends, just an empty row of chairs.
We knew something was off from the start. He never talked to us. Always quiet. Always watching. He didn't feel like part of the family.
Donald presented himself as a property developer, buying and renovating houses, but no one could ever verify his background. His finances were murky, his paperwork inconsistent. Paula trusted him, but her family remained skeptical. Then came the bombshell. Investigators discovered that Donald McFerson was a lie. His real name, Alexander James Lang, a convicted fraudster with a staggering criminal record spanning 3 countries. He had racked up 32 convictions for fraud, forgery, and deception. He had reinvented himself multiple times, posing as different people, exploiting trust at every step. Lang had even served time in Germany, accused of participating in a high-level banking scam. He'd fooled authorities before, but now he'd fooled Paula, and it might have cost her everything. While Paula was building a life, Donald was plotting in the shadows. He quietly accumulated debts, misled insurers, and prepared to cash in on the ultimate betrayal. Paula thought she'd married a partner. She'd actually married a predator, and the cost would be her life. In the months before Paula's death, Donald quietly took out 7 life insurance policies, totaling over £3.5 million. Every one of them listed him as the sole beneficiary. The details were coldly calculated. The policies were activated just before their holiday in Denmark. Several contained specific clauses, extra payouts in case of accidental death abroad. Paula had no idea these documents even existed. Donald had forged details, misrepresented information, and kept everything secret.
Honestly, never seen one person take out that many policies in such a short time. Raised red flags after the claim came in.
At the time of Paula's death, Donald was drowning in debt. Over £90,000 owed to creditors, businesses failing, schemes collapsing. The policies weren't just a backup plan, they were a lifeline. Just days after Paula's death, Donald contacted the insurance companies, requesting immediate payout. He didn't even wait for her funeral.
The evidence demonstrates that the defendant had both motive and means to orchestrate the death. His actions were deliberate, calculated, and self-serving.
It wasn't love, it wasn't an accident, it was a plan. The truth was becoming undeniable. Paula Leeson had been worth more to Donald dead than alive. June 6th, 2017. Paula and Donald arrived at a holiday cottage in western Denmark. It was supposed to be a relaxing escape, but behind the smiles, something dark was brewing. They shared dinner. Paula was reportedly cheerful, even joking with her family by phone earlier that day. But later that night, everything changed. At 10:15 p.m., Donald claimed he went to bed, but data from Paula's Fitbit painted a different story. Her fitness tracker showed she was still moving at 10:37 p.m. Her heart rate suddenly spiked, then flatlined. She had struggled. Paula didn't just slip, she fought. Her body showed signs of blunt trauma, bruises on her arms and face, consistent with a violent confrontation.
There were abrasions on the forehead and nose, and petechial hemorrhaging in the eyes, clear signs of asphyxiation or drowning with resistance.
Yet Donald's account never changed. He said he found her already submerged. He never mentioned a struggle, never explained her injuries.
The data strongly suggests she was conscious and active until something catastrophic happened. It's consistent with forced drowning.
The morning after, Donald was calm. Too calm. He made calls to insurance companies before notifying Paula's family. She didn't fall. She didn't drown by accident. Paula Leeson was murdered, and her last moments were filled with fear. 2 years later, in 2019, Donald McFerson stood trial at the Chester Crown Court. Accused of murdering his wife in cold blood for financial gain, he pleaded not guilty. The prosecution laid out a mountain of circumstantial evidence: insurance policies, bruising, the Fitbit timeline. It all pointed to murder.
This was no accident. It was a premeditated killing for financial gain. Paula was worth more to the defendant dead than alive.
But the defense claimed otherwise. They argued it was all coincidence, a tragic accident. No one saw it happen, they said, and that created doubt.
I loved her. I would never do anything to hurt Paula. I woke up and she was gone. I was terrified.
Paula's family sat through every moment, hoping for justice. But then came the verdict.
Based on the evidence presented, this court cannot be satisfied beyond reasonable doubt. The defendant is found not guilty.
Gasps filled the courtroom. Donald walked free, and Paula's loved ones were left in disbelief. But they didn't give up. Her family launched a civil case, and this time the outcome was different.
On the balance of probabilities, we find Mr. McPherson responsible for the unlawful killing of Paula Leeson.
It wasn't a criminal conviction, but it was a victory, one that finally called him what he was, responsible. After the civil court ruling, Donald McPherson disappeared. He changed his name once again and vanished. He was last seen boarding a ferry from Ireland. Some believe he's hiding in New Zealand. Others suspect Australia. Wherever he is, he's evading justice.
My daughter didn't deserve this. We're not stopping. Not until he's brought back in handcuffs.
The family continues their fight, speaking out, raising awareness, pushing for a new trial. They believe Donald will be caught. They believe the world is watching. Thousands have signed petitions. Dozens of new leads have emerged, but the case remains open. No warrant, no arrest. Paula Leeson's story is not over, and until justice is done, her family and those who remember her will never rest. She was a mother, a daughter, a woman full of life, and her story, like so many, nearly disappeared beneath silence. But silence is not justice, and forgetting is not peace. If you know something, say something. Paula deserves truth, and so do the people she left behind.